Welcome back to the deep dive. Ever notice how sometimes just one single word in a headline can completely change how you see an event? We're talking about those words you see a lot, high frequency words, but they pack a serious punch. They really shape the story from, global politics right down to personal stuff. And today we're zeroing in on two big ones, urge and vow.
Yeah, these are definitely words with weight.
Exactly. They aren't just fancy synonyms for ask or promise. They carry specific intent, real significance. So our mission today is to cut through the noise, really dig into the layers of meaning behind urge and vow. We want to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding the precise power they hold.
Like a linguistic x-ray, maybe?
I like that. A linguistic x-ray revealing the intention hidden right there in plain sight. So let's unpack this, and we'll start with urge. When you hear urge, what's the first thing that springs to mind? For me, it's this strong push, a really compelling suggestion. At its core, yeah, it means strongly advising or encouraging someone to do something. But what's really interesting, we touched on this, is its dual nature. It's also that strong inner desire, that impulse. So it's both pushing outwards and pulling inwards.
That's a great way to frame it. External motivator, internal drive.
Right. So let's look at how urge plays out in the big leagues, formal settings like news, diplomacy. When you read, say, the UN urged both sides to resume peace talks, or maybe the UN urged immediate humanitarian aid. That's not just a polite suggestion, is it?
Not at all. It's much stronger than that. It's like a diplomatic alarm bell, really.
Yeah. It signals a critical need for action. It's serious encouragement almost an imperative.
Exactly. What's powerful about urge in these formal contexts is how it flags up this acute need for action, but maybe without issuing a direct command. It often implies a certain moral authority or deep concern, subtly pushing for an immediate significant response because the situation's grave.
So it's like saying, we strongly advise you act because the consequences if you don't.
Precisely. Are dire. It's a call to conscience just as much as a call to action.
A call to conscience. I like that. But then, okay, we also use urge just in everyday chat, right? And it can feel a bit softer there.
Less formal for sure.
Though it still feels like it carries more weight than just, say, casually suggesting something. If I told you I urged him to apply for that job or I urged her to see a doctor.
Right.
I'm really emphasizing my strong belief that they should do that thing. It's not a global crisis, but it's definitely more than just a passing thought.
You're putting some weight behind your recommendation.
Exactly. And then there's that other side of urge, the noun, that inner impulse. I mean, who hasn't felt an urge to laugh during a really serious meeting?
Oh, definitely. Or the classic urge to check your phone when you really shouldn't.
Right. It's that spontaneous desire, sometimes inconvenient, just bubbling up. That internal pull can be surprisingly strong.
It's incredibly versatile.
Oh.
And if we start to peel back the layers, the different conceptual meanings, you really see this spectrum. First, there's that strong recommendation or appeal we've been talking about, the external push. Doctors urge patients to quit smoking.
Yeah, that's a classic. It's more than advice. It's a plea.
It really is. Then second, there's a sort of moral or emotional persuasion, pressing someone earnestly. Think of saying, she urged her friend to tell the truth. You're appealing to their integrity, nudging them towards what's right. Less command, more conviction.
Okay, makes sense. Conviction, not command.
Third, and maybe the one we feel most often, is that strong inner desire we mentioned, the noun form. Psychologists study these sudden urges all the time. They're part of being human. He resisted the urge to check his phone, that little personal battle.
Yeah, I fight that battle daily.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
And finally, there's a slightly less common, maybe older usage, to impel or drive forcefully, like circumstances urged him forward, meaning events just propelled him. Or think of a crowd at a game. The crowd urged the player forward. That collective energy pushing them.
Ah, like a physical push almost.
Kind of. So whether it's external pressure, a moral nudge, or that powerful internal compulsion, urge is incredibly flexible. It's really about propulsion, pushing things forward.
Propulsion, that captures it really well. And it's neat how it works as both a verb, to urge someone, and a noun, an urge you feel. And it even gives us urgent, that adjective which perfectly catches the critical timing, the pressing need, like urge itself is urgent.
Exactly. They're closely linked.
So, quick takeaway for urge, then.
Right, yeah.
Remember, it's primarily about propelling others to act or describing those strong inner impulses that drive us. It always has that sense of necessity, inside or out.
Well summarized.
Okay, now let's pivot. Let's talk about vow. This word just feels heavier straight away, doesn't it?
It really does. More solemn.
Yeah, solemn is the word. Our general definition for vow is a solemn promise or pledge, often packed with this deep sense of commitment, seriousness. It brings up images of big moments.
Life-altering moments sometimes.
For sure. And in formal settings, news, law, politics, religion, vow gets used a lot to underline these really profound commitments. When a headline says, the president vowed to eradicate corruption, it's hitting differently than just promised, right?
Oh, absolutely. It signals unwavering dedication, a public declaration.
And of course, the classic example, they exchanged wedding vows. That's not just saying, I promise. It's sacred, it's lifelong.
And this is where vow really sets itself apart from a simple promise. What gives it that unique weight? I think it's often that solemnity you mentioned, maybe the public nature of it, or just the sheer depth of personal conviction behind it.
Right. A vow isn't something you just toss aside lightly.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It carries this inherent seriousness, almost a moral or spiritual weight. It demands to be taken seriously, to be upheld. It's an intention backed by gravity.
That gravity, that seriousness, it's really noticeable. Even when we use vow in everyday chat, maybe for lighter things, it still brings that heavier feeling. You might say, I vowed never to eat fast food again.
A common vow.
Or maybe he vowed to finally clean his room this weekend. Okay, the stakes are lower, but the feeling of commitment, that strong personal resolution, it's still kind of there, isn't it?
It is. It signals a stronger intent than just saying, I'll try, or I promise.
Yeah. And sometimes we use it for dramatic effect, maybe a bit of exaggeration. I vow I'll never watch that movie again.
Or I vow I'll never speak to him again. It just adds that extra punch.
It really underlines the strength of feeling.
And just like urge, vow has these fascinating conceptual layers when you dig deeper. First, there's that solemn promise in public or political contexts. Like your example, a government that vowed to rebuild the city after the disaster. That's a big public commitment, meant to reassure, declare future action.
Okay, public declaration type.
Then second, the sacred or ceremonial promise. This is incredibly powerful. Monks take vows of poverty and obedience.
Or the wedding vows again.
Exactly. These are promises made under very specific, often spiritual conditions. Huge personal and community significance.
Right, carries a different kind of weight.
Third is personal determination or resolve. This is where vow becomes this internal, almost unshakable decision. She vowed to improve her health.
Like an athlete vowing to come back stronger after losing.
Perfect example. It's that deep personal pledge to oneself, a resolute commitment to a future state or action.
Got it. Self-commitment.
And finally, maybe a bit more historical or poetic, vow as an oath or guarantee. He made a vow upon his honor. That connects the promise directly to one's reputation.
Like knights vowing loyalty to their king.
Precisely. What's really striking is how vow holds onto this core, meaning deep, unshakable commitment across all these different uses. Grand public statements, quiet personal resolutions. It's always about that solid commitment.
Commitment solidified. I like that description. It really nails it.
Thanks.
And grammatically, vow is neat too. Works as a verb, to vow, and a noun, like in marriage vows. We even get the adjective vowed, like a vowed enemy.
Meaning a sworn enemy, right? Deeply committed opposition.
Yeah, it really emphasizes how lasting that pledge is meant to be.
True.
So quick takeaway for vow then. Remember, it's all about those solemn promises and unshakable commitments, whether they're personal, political, or sacred. It speaks to real conviction and intention.
Conviction's a good word for it.
All right, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. We've unpacked urge, we've unpacked vow. Now let's put them side by side. This is where we can really sharpen the distinctions for you, because getting these nuances right, that unlocks a whole new level of understanding.
Absolutely. And it's actually pretty clear when you put them head to head.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. Urge is fundamentally about propulsion or persuasion. It's about pushing or being pushed. Whether that pressure is external, like a government strongly recommending something, or it's that internal impulse you're dealing with. It's about movement, motivation.
Okay, urge is push propulsion.
Right. Vow, on the other hand, is all about solemn commitment or promise, an unshakable declaration. It doesn't matter so much if it's public, personal, or sacred. It's about resolve, deep-seated intention.
Vow is resolve commitment. Okay, let's run through some contrasting scenarios that usually helps make things click.
Good idea.
Imagine your friends having a hard time. You might urge them to tell the truth, right? You're giving that strong push towards honesty, suggesting their action, but you might vow to always be there for that friend. That's different. That's your deep, unwavering commitment to support them, your pledge.
See the difference? One is persuading someone else, the other is committing yourself.
Exactly. Or think about a bigger picture. A natural disaster happens. A government might vow to rebuild the city. That's their firm commitment, their promise about their future action.
Right. That's internal resolve made public.
Meanwhile, the UN might urge immediate humanitarian aid to that same region. That's a pressing call for others to act now. It highlights the critical need, the urgency.
So one's a pledge for the future, the other's a demand for immediate action from others. Very different functions.
Totally different. And maybe the clearest contrast is between that spontaneous desire and determined resolve. You might resist the urge to check your phone in a meeting, that fleeting internal impulse. It's about the present moment.
That sudden feeling.
But an athlete vows to return stronger after a loss. That's a deep, determined personal resolution focused on the future. One is often short-lived, the other is meant to endure.
That contrast really clarifies it. The urge is often immediate, almost reactive, while the vow is deliberate, proactive, and long-term.
And having that clarity, I think, is such a powerful tool for you. It helps you avoid misinterpreting things, especially when you're reading the news or in important conversations. When a politician vows something, you now understand it's meant as a serious public commitment. It carries personal weight for them.
Right. And if they urge action, you know it's a strong, often urgent call directed at others. It's
Yeah.
about pressure, not necessarily personal pledge.
So you can really grasp the depth, the intention behind the words people choose. You get past just the surface meaning.
Which helps you become a more critical consumer of information.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for you? It means becoming a more discerning listener and honestly a more precise communicator yourself. By recognizing the power these seemingly simple words have, you're not just hearing words, you're understanding the true intent behind them. You're becoming, yeah, a more informed participant in this whole world of information. And that brings us pretty much to the end of today's deep dive. We've journeyed through urge and vow, really tried to unpack their many meanings from those urgent calls for action to those deep personal pledges. We really hope this exploration has brought you some new clarity, some fresh insight into these powerful words. Maybe it'll even change how you hear the news tonight.
Indeed. Understanding these words helps you not just scan the headlines, but truly feel the weight and intention behind the messages. Whether it's in the news, a formal speech, or just, everyday chats. It's about getting a richer, more nuanced understanding of language itself and how it shapes our reality.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. As you go about your day, listening to the news, talking with people, even just making plans, maybe pause and consider this. What urges are actually guiding the actions of others, or maybe even your own decisions right now? And what vows, big or small, truly define the commitments you and others make, the ones that set the course for the future? How do these powerful words shape the world around you? And maybe how could you use them more precisely, more intentionally yourself? It's something to think about.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with more fascinating insights.